السلام عليكم. في حجرة الدرس. في in حجرة room الدرس the lesson الدرس. So في is in, حجرة is room, ال. Now notice I say ال now because I'm talking about it. It's the. So this is how you write the in Arabic. It's this a and l. But notice that I did not pronounce it. So with these types of letters, they're called sun letters. There are 14 of them. With a definite article, you do not pronounce the l or the hamza or a here if the definite article is within the sentence, like this. If you start talking with a word that has a definite article, you pronounce this as a. So that's for a different discussion, but just notice, if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you'll notice a difference between what I say and what you see on the script here. So study is the dars, study. So في حجرة الدرس, in the room of the study. Of course, there is no of in Arabic. You just put the two nouns like this, just like in English. You say city streets, meaning the streets of the city. Two nouns after each other. Now, what you hear me when I move from this ta to this da, I say حجرة. Notice I did not pronounce these al here, but there is that movement a. So what you hear is this here. This is exactly what you hear. حجرة da. Notice there is two d's there. Da with no short vowel and da. Id حجرة. Notice this tight ta here, I open it because I pronounce it, becomes ta. Of course, that's not how you see it. This is how it's written, but this is what you hear me say. حجرة الدرس. When you hear that, you in script, you will recognize it by noticing that the. You know there is a definite article there. But with practice, you'll begin to distinguish this difference here, because you will recognize this word as a separate word, حجرة, which is room, and dars, which is study. This stressing this da here, making it two das, the d's there, is because of this definite article. So this is just a note. If you notice, every time I read a noun with a definite article attached to it, you might notice that difference. So this is just a note, so you will know what to look for. Now, I highlighted the nouns that have a definite article. The definite article only goes with nouns, so that's a mark you should remember, that only nouns will have the definite article attached to them at the beginning of it. So طلع التلاميذ طلع التلاميذ إلى حجرة الدرس. طلع, they went up. طلع, he went up, but it's used with the plural here. So طلع التلاميذ, the pupils went up, إلى, to, حجرة الدرس, to the room of the study. That's how I understand this, حجرة الدرس. In English, I would say the room of the study. Notice here the definite article. Notice here the same thing. I did not pronounce the L here. It's within the sentence, so I move from this a to this ta there. طلعت. This is what you hear. عدت. Your first ta is without a short vowel, this round circle there. That's the mark for it. Then the second ta has this a, fatha. And this is the stress mark, it's called the shadda, or the tightening mark, which indicates that it sounds as if two letters that are pronounced the same are joined together. So as if you're pronouncing two letters there. But instead of writing two letters like this, they use this mark here. And the short vowel on top of it indicates the movement of the second one there. So Now you hear me, when you listen to me reading, you will hear طلعت 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 تلاميذ طلعت تلاميذ. So notice the short vowel here. This is how you write it when you connect something to it, this a there. At the end of a word, that's how it looks, a. So طلعت 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 تلاميذ طلعت تلاميذ. So this way, just to give you a confirmation of what you are probably hearing but not seeing represented in the text. You see a difference between what's written here and what you hear. This is the explanation of it. So it's just the way the Arabs used to speak. If with 14 letters of the alphabet, they will not pronounce this al here for the definite article. And it's called the sun letter because that's how the word shams, the word for sun, starts with one of these letters. The other 14 are called moon letters because with the word moon for moon, qamar, you will pronounce this al. So we'll see an example here now. So طلع التلاميذ إلى حجرة الدرس. طلع went up, التلاميذ the pupils, to إلى حجرة الدرس, room of the study. فجلس فريد على مقعد وجلس المعلم على كرسي. فجلس this word has a different meaning in different contexts. So in here it says then. Within the context of this script here, this paragraph, it means then. Then he sat down. فجلس. جلس is he sat. So then جلس or so, or I'd rather use then. So then he sat down. Farid sat down. فجلس فريد. Farid sat. جلس. على on مقعد, a desk. He sat on, Farid sat on a desk. وجلس and جلس. Sat, he sat, indicates a singular third person masculine. He sat. المعلم. Notice now this definite article I pronounce the L. المعلم, because this here, the first letter of this word teacher, معلم, is one of the 14 letters you pronounce the definite article al with it. So وجلس المعلم على كرسي, on كرسي, a chair. So now this is how you hear me pronounce the word here when I move from جلس المعلم. So جلس المعلم, سل معلم, سل معلم. So جلس المعلم. This is what you hear. Of course, this S is connected here. So when you hear me say it, I say جلس المعلم. I move from this S to this L. So here you hear the L pronounced, but you do not hear this A. This has a special mark here. It's called the connected Hamza. This mark tells you that you do not pronounce it if it's within the sentence, within the speech. Notice I dropped it. I did not pronounce it. But if I start the sentence with it, I would say al-muallim. So this is my mark to say a, because this is the first letter of the definite article. So this here also shows you that when I pronounce it, it's this L. You see this mark of no vowels on this L there. And here you see the tightening or the doubling mark. So that's your cue when you're looking at a text with diacritics showing the short vowels and the other marks. So if you hear it like this, you're not mistaken. That's exactly what it is. It's because of the way this definite article sometimes is, you pronounce the L, sometimes you do not, and whether you double the letter after it or not. So this is here طلع التلاميذ إلى حجرة الدرس. The pupils went up to the room of the study. Then Farid sat on a desk, and the teacher sat on a chair. بعد نداء التلاميذ, بعد after نداء the calling of the تلاميذ, the pupils. نداء التلاميذ, the calling of the pupils. So after the calling of the pupils, ينهض المعلم, the teacher gets up. So what I think they mean by the calling of the pupils is when they state their names to see who is present and who is not, or things like that. So this is my understanding of this word nida here. Gets up, the teacher gets up. ينهض, gets up. انظر إلى هذا المعلم. انظر, look, إلى, to, هذا, this. هذا is this. So look to this, the teacher. In Arabic you see the definite article there. المعلم, look to this teacher. In English you say look at this teacher. فهو واقف أمام التلاميذ. فهو, now this fa here is with this pronoun هو, he. فهو, as he. This I understand here as he هو, as he is standing. Of course there is no is in Arabic, so واقف, it means is standing in Arabic. واقف, he is standing. So as he is standing أمامه, in front of التلاميذ, the pupils. So look to this teacher as he is standing in front of the pupils, التلاميذ. على يمينه خزانة. على, on, يمينه. يمين is right. He here is his. So this is his. يمينه, his, يمين, his right. So on his right, خزانة, a cabinet. خزانة. وعلى, and, على, on, يساره. يسار is left. He here is his, written like this because this letter, this ra, r, does not connect to what comes after it. So in this case, this ha is written like a circle. Without the dots, it's the ha for the pronoun. His, he, in this case, his, because it's connected to a noun. Same thing here. Notice how it looks when it connects to something before it. Also notice the vowel on it. Sometimes you will hear it u, because of the short vowel of the letter before it is u, or a, fatha or u. So sometimes the word his here, you will hear it he or who, depending on what comes before it. Bab. So وعلى يساره باب, and on his left bab, a door. باب. فيعمل التلاميذ في حجرة الدرس. So or then, I can understand this in this context to might mean both. So they work. يعمل. Here يعمل, he works. But in this context, because of this تلاميذ is plural, I understand this in English. I translated it as they work. So they work or then they work. I can understand this also as then they work. فيعمل التلاميذ في حجرة الدرس. So the pupils work in the study, in the room of the study, or you understand it as the study room. فإذا دق الجرس. فإذا, so or then, then إذا, if. I understand إذا in this context as if. إذا. So then if. فإذا دق الجرس. So if the bell was rung, this is the word for if the subject of a verb is not known. So someone rang the bell, but it's not indicated who. So if the bell was rung, نزلوا إلى الفناء. نزل, he went down. This wa here is the pronoun for they, masculine. As I said before, this a is not pronounced. You will see it there to indicate that this wa is a pronoun and this is the verb. نزل. But in the script you write it connected to it. So نزلوا. نزل, he went down. نزلوا, they went down. So نزلوا, they went down. إلى الفناء للراحة. To the yard للراحة. for الراحة. Now this here is 3 words. for the definite article and the word راحة, rest. So نزلوا إلى الفناء, they went down to the yard للراحة, for الراحة. But you don't see it written like this. Notice here, this ra is one of the 14 letters that gets doubled after the definite article. But here, because of this L, they dropped this Hamza, this letter there, so you will never see it in the script. So it will look like this. So you don't read this lil, it's pronounced lil-raha. Pay attention to the stress, to the tightening mark here, which indicates that you pronounce this letter as if it's 2 letters of the same type. So 2 R's, 2 D's, 2 T's. So here it's as if you added another R. That's how the Arab used to speak when they add this definite article with these letters. So I do not say li al raha, I say lir raha. Notice I dropped the L here, even though you can see it there, but I dropped it. So that's what you hear me say, lir raha. So when you see the script like this, you understand that there is a definite article, but it's not being pronounced because of how you hear it read. So this is just a quick note. You will get used to the definite article because you will come across it in every text. انظر إلى هذا المعلم. Look at this teacher. So this is his left hand. يساره, his left, يساره. This is his right, his right. So if you look at this teacher, إذا نظرت إلى هذا الأستاذ, this is the cabinet. هذه خزانة on his right. هذه خزانة على يمينه. And here, وهنا, this is a door on his left. هذا باب على يساره. هذا باب على يساره. This is a door on his left. This is a cabinet on his right. هذه خزانة على يمينه. Now here, this is the next page in this book. You can download this book from the link in the description and try to find these words in the text that we just covered. So here, all these have nonation, which means they are either a proper noun or an indefinite noun. You see these nonation marks at the end, and some of them are demonstrative nouns and so on. So try to find these in the text and see if you can remember what they are. Here you have verbs, so you could try to find these. And here you have some prepositions and the word for if, either in the context that we used, and for. So try to use this as an exercise. So next time, inshallah, we'll continue with the exercises to discuss the verbs or the new words that were added in this text. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.